You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since first grade, now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
And I'm Charging Buffalo. Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, I have a point of order as we review Man of the House. But first, JB, how are you and the family?
A little bit better now. We've been battling some colds last week. Yes, it's cold. It is not COVID. But we are on the way up. But my voice is a couple dBs lower, so it's gonna sound really good. It's gonna sound really good on my end. But
I was gonna say, when your wife listens to this later on, she's gonna be like, I like him.
It reminds me of the Friends episode where Phoebe has a cold and she sings all of those rustic tunes. My stinky shoes, my stinky shoes. And then it goes away and her voice gets better. And she's like, no, someone cough on me. Someone cough on me.
See, I was thinking of How I Met Your Mother, the episode where they all take up smoking again and then try and quit smoking again. And they replace Lily's voice with Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
Yeah. Weinstein. Yeah. Who's got the deep raspy voice.
Deep raspy voice.
That's one of my favorite episodes of that show.
So if I cough in the middle of this, I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. I'm going to have to hydrate a lot, but
I love it's not COVID. It's not COVID.
Just letting you know, I know we're recording this in completely different states, but just wanted to let you know.
Been there, done that. You've had COVID. I've had COVID.
Been there, done that. Doesn't mean that we can't do it again. But anyways, so this weekend, even though we had some sickness going around, we decided somebody in our neighborhood decided that they were gonna do a garage sale this weekend, which is prime time for us to get out there and do it ourselves. Make a little bit of cash. This is one of my wife's favorite things. She does it. She basically handles it all herself. Her mother-in-law came over as well. She brought some stuff. So it was a giant affair. I had the kids most of the day. Took them to the mall and we just played around and just did whatever just to kill time during the middle of all of this. But in the midst of this, we always try and get some toys in there as well. To try to just got so many toys around the house to try to get a little bit of that. But inevitably, my son sees the toys that we were trying to sell and does not want. He then wants to go play with it. The toys he hasn't played with in months and months and months, but at the same time, he wants it right there. So we let him play with it a little bit, and he inevitably tries to get them back into the house. He tries to grab them and bring them back into the house. We try to say, no, nobody. We're trying to sell this. We'll buy you new toys with some of this. So finally, I take the kids and I take them to go to the store, to the mall, come back. It's still going on. And I see my wife and she comes right over to me. She's like, I am so upset. I was like, why are you so upset? She's like, I sold some of Buddy's toys. And the moment I did it, I was so sad that I did that to him. I'm like, baby, it's okay. He will get over this.
Well, and it attaches, you do start to have like memory attachments to some of the toys that they play with.
That's the thing. I don't even think it was that. I think it was just she knew that he liked that toy and now we're kind of giving it away. And since then he has not given 2 seconds thought about the cars that we sold. And all in all, we made $60 this weekend. So you know what? It was worth it.
There you go. We have a big garage sale the end of May, so we understand we're in prep.
Like this is planned. We're a month out, Eddie. You've got it planned out for a month.
We're selling over like half of what we own, like
That's
the majority
right.
of what we're. So yes, and
sorry, my bad.
So. I don't know if this happened when you guys do garage sales, but like it always happens when somebody finds out you are having a garage sale and they're like, well, I've got some stuff I wanted to sell in a garage sale, but not enough to have a garage sale of my own. Yeah. Can I put things in your garage sale?
And then you got to do the whole, well, they sold, this was your stuff. So changing money and stuff like that, or did they give it to you and say just take it?
So this time around, everybody has just said they understand we are missionaries and that we are trying to use these funds to go to a foreign country, and so they're like, here, we'll just give you these things and take care of it. But that's the other reason why we're planning like a month in advance, because our garage is full of wardrobes and bread machines and bookshelves and clothes and toys and furniture and all sorts of stuff.
So that's nice if they just give it to you. The only problem is if you don't sell it, then you have to dispose of it.
Well, yes, we will, though. Like Habitat for Humanity truck is coming that afternoon at the, it's like anything that doesn't sell,
just go straight on it. Okay, you've got to plan it because you've had a month to figure this out. So
you scoffed at. Actually, I've had this on the calendar for like 2 months.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The fact that you already have this planned means that this was really on there 2 months in advance.
Yeah. But we are planners. Plus, moving to a foreign country is no small undertaking, and so you have to plan a lot of different things out. But there you go.
Exactly. Eddie, what's the Disney news that we have to talk about today?
Well, you surprised me with this one because I totally
missed
to you this
as
moment.
Of 10 minutes ago.
Not even, right? How long have we been talking? 6 minutes and 42 seconds. The Shang-Chi, the Legend of the Ten Rings trailer from Marvel just dropped today.
Yep.
I had no idea. So I'm literally 6 minutes and 58 seconds having just watched it. So this is new and fresh to me. I knew that it was coming out. I just didn't know that the trailer had dropped today. So today that trailer dropped.
Every time there's a Mortal Kombat trailer on TV, I always get excited thinking, is this Shang-Chi? No, it's not. It's just Mortal Kombat again for the 30th time. I just want that movie to come out so we can stop seeing trailers for it. But yes, I was sitting in a meeting today and someone was like, hey, have you seen the new Shang-Chi trailer? It's finally out. And it's mostly because I don't know anything about it. It's just new Marvel movie. We haven't had any Marvel movies for over a year. I'm just ready. I'm just ready for the next one. I know that's not the next film. We still have Black Widow in there before that coming in July, but it's brand new Marvel content that we haven't seen anything about yet. So that's why I was excited for when it dropped.
And I'm excited for it because it kind of starts all just the new phase where this is like a whole new batch of characters.
Yep.
Like we're getting new characters coming in that we don't know anything about. So yeah, I'm really excited. I loved the styling of it. I love the high production value and kind of highly choreographed and stylized fight sequences. That really stood out to me. That looked really cool. Didn't know Awkwafina was going to be in this one.
But then if you think about it, if it's an MCU Asian culture film, I mean, Awkwafina had to be in it.
So she was just in Raya and the Last Dragon and really liked her in that. Thought that was a fun little...
Did you go see that in theaters, Eddie?
Yeah, we did. That was my what we did for my birthday. I wanted to go to the movies and that had just come out. So we saw Raya and the Last Dragon, which I don't know if we should wait until it comes out, but I liked it. I thought it was really good. One of the better Disney movies I've seen in a while.
When it comes out to Disney Plus, we should talk about it if we haven't already talked a little bit about it. Yes, I enjoyed this trailer. It had all the things I love. Had a little sense of not a ton of car stuff in it, but it had a few car moments where like feels a little bit like Tokyo Drift in here. Loved the beat. I was thinking about that song most of this morning. That tune that was going over and over in my head. And once again, I don't know anything about the story, but I'm all in on whatever this new character is. Don't know anything about the story. I don't know what the 10 rings are about, but it looked cool. A lot of action, a lot of fun, and I'm here for that. So a story I've never heard about. So
yeah, and I've just I don't know, like I wouldn't have called myself a Marvel fan until like recently, I've had a few people be like, I don't know about these like Marvel TV shows. I'm kind. Somebody literally said to me Saturday, I'm kind of over this whole Marvel thing. And in reference to the TV shows. And I'm like, but have you watched them? They're like, nah, it's just like too much. I'm like, honestly, I think some of the Marvel stuff that they're doing right now is some of the best that I've seen. Like, especially like WandaVision and Winter Soldier. This is some of the... WandaVision was on another level. Yeah, it's some of the best storytelling. WandaVision, I know we've already reviewed that. You can go back and listen to that episode.
And there will be a Falcon and the Winter Soldier review. Yes. Full series review.
But incredible storytelling. I think WandaVision just went to a whole nother level that the more I think about it and go back and look at it.
They flexed in a way that they haven't before. About that. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But so I am excited. Brand new characters. And I think about it, there's so many characters in the MCU that I knew nothing about. I didn't know anything about Iron Man before he came out. Nothing about Thor. Nothing about Black Widow. Nothing about basically. And I really didn't know that much about Captain America either. But there's been so many great characters that went from 0 to 100 so quickly in my mind that I'm down for these new characters. So.
0 to hero is the phrase there, to borrow from Hercules, which we'll review in a few episodes. 0 to hero.
Exactly. But that is not why we are here today. Today, we're continuing our walk through 1995, and today's film came out before one of our last previous films, but Disney Plus finally added it to their collection. So today we are going to review the movie Man of the House.
Cue the Disney sound effect.
Okay, IMDb. I'm not going to do any weird voices because I still am a little...
You have a natural weird voice going on.
Natural weird voice. Let me get this ready. Okay. A young boy refuses to accept his mother's new boyfriend, a lawyer, despite the man's attempts to win his respect. Meanwhile, disgruntled relative of a criminal he prosecuted seek revenge. This can't
Seeks
be
revenge.
But is that a typo?
No, the internet wouldn't have a typo.
It sounds like they were making a play on native, trying to make it native, like prosecuted, seek revenge. Like it seems like a weird. Anyways, I'm sorry. Yeah, that has some problems in it. There's so many issues with this thing. But anyways, Eddie, as we start off with all of these, was this a go-to for you guys? Had you seen this before, or was this a fresh watch?
I know that I have seen this before, okay, because I've seen pretty much every Disney movie, but this was not a go-to movie. I would be hard-pressed if this was my second or third viewing ever.
I know I've seen the trailer for this a ton of times because I'm sure it played in front of a lot of other films that we were watching, maybe Lion King or something like that. No, I had never actually watched this, like sat down and watched this before in my life. So it was a first watch. Yep.
So first watch of a 90s family comedy movie. What did it make if you had just woken up from let me say this differently. If you had no idea what the 90s were about, you hadn't lived through the 90s yourself, and this was your introduction to the 90s.
Wow.
Somehow you had a coma through the 90s. Boom, wake up. All you know is the 2020s. What would you think the 90s were about?
Evidently, it's a lot about Copting Indian culture and just angry kids. Like I don't know what else to say. That's what this movie is about.
I love the love is in a sarcastic way. They really leaned into the whole Native American Indian theme here, right? And trying to not be politically incorrect, all the while being totally politically incorrect. Like, even not even in an extreme standard, like they're just, yeah, it's just very, very awkward. Like a whole bunch of white guys running around pretending to be.
Let's say this: if they never bring in that Indian guy, the actual Indian guy, it almost seems like that was supposed to be their rubber stamp of approval. Like, oh, don't judge us because we have an actual Indian guy here in some of these scenes. So, and he gives his blessing. He teaches them how to do the rain dance. So therefore it's okay.
It's okay.
And
well, there's a couple of moments like that, right? So you have that moment where we bring in an actual Native American. Then my favorite is when like his boss, I don't know, like the district attorney or whatever, after he comes with the rash on his forehead in the shape of war paint when he's representing the government against this lawsuit from a Native American tribe. And he's like, come on, this is the 90s. Have you heard of political correctness?
Yep.
And then in the next breath, he's like, you need to figure out this Indian thing with your stepson. I'm like, wait a second. Did we cover that one too?
Yes. My wife told me, and I already messed it up before we started. She was like, now you JB, you need to know, do not call this Indian culture. Do not do it. This is Native American. And I've already messed this up, so I apologize. What's really funny to me is we decided not to do Squanto because we were sure that was going to have too many landmines, that there was no way we were going to, and one, it didn't look like an interesting story. And then we get this. We get this film that is mostly about this kid tricking his soon-to-be stepdad into doing these Native American rituals just to punk him at the expense. Yeah, no, there's so much, and I just didn't realize it was going to be the entire film was going to be about this. But I just completely forgot about it.
There's almost an element though of like, it is two different things, right? Like you do have the actual Native American culture with many different tribes and different nations. And then you have really kind of what's represented here, which is the politically incorrect caricature of Indians, right? And if you can see, I'm putting Indians in air quotes here because, of course, it's not. India is an actual country with a true culture. The whole naming of Indians is just this huge geographic error, thinking they had land, that we've just perpetuated for centuries now. And it's not even like politically incorrectness. It's just
wrong.
It's just wrong. Like it's just geographic incorrectness of like, oh, well, he was aiming to land in India. So we're just going to call everybody here India because and it's like, we figured it out pretty quickly that we actually didn't land in India. This is the new world. But we've still held on to all of those incorrect names for so long.
Yep.
So that's where I'm kind of like, they're really two different things. There's the actual Native American cultures that are diverse and in different parts of the United States that are really interesting to explore. I've been to a lot of those different spots. And then you have what this movie is trying to show, which is just the awful just caricature of Indian that has perpetuated our American culture for so long.
Just for a joke.
Just for jokes. To which, in many ways, you and I grew up going to a club, a Christian version of a club like this,
Yes, we did.
With the same kind of trappings.
Eddie, I completely I had spaced that part of my life out. Awana. Oh man, I'd completely spaced that out of my memory. Granted, we were not wearing fake headdresses.
Sure.
But there was
everything was named accordingly.
Everything wasn't. It was named. I don't know that our vests were more like
they
scouts.
were gray.
Yeah, they were more like scouts.
Yeah, they were more like scouts. Yeah.
And then now I'm thinking of Camp Squawkum and all the other things that just happened to be.
Well, so Camp Squawkum is something our church did, but that was different because the Squawkum was the tribe from our hometown.
See, I'm learning so much about the stuff I knew nothing about.
You didn't know that? Okay.
No, I did not.
Yes. So the reason why the summer day camps at our church were called Camp Squawkum is because the Squawkum Indians are from Brownsburg, Indiana. Like that was the native tribe to our hometown.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. No one told me that. They just threw me into the day camp and said, "Here, go play for a little bit. Go on some field trips."
Now calling the director, Chief Squawkum and different things like that. I'm not sure how good that would have been. But
so the culture appropriation aside, let's talk about other problems with this. Let's talk about other problems with this.
Let's just take half of this and push it aside. Hold on. There is this fun scene, and I poked fun at it in the intro, and I love when I get you to break. Because I almost wrote it in the show notes, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna write it. I'm just gonna do it and see if I can get them to break. The naming of the different characters, or the father son, how they name each other, as culturally inappropriate as that is, the animal naming is quite a humorous little scene there, where he names his soon-to-be stepdad Squatting Dog. And this is probably the scene that I remember the most from being a kid, because I loved the moment where he says, well, yeah, it was one of my favorite dogs, but he had the runs all the time, and so that's why we called him Squatting Dog. And he said, did you have any other pets? And he said, yes, I had a squirrel, and we named him Numbnuts. And I just remember being a second grader thinking that was
hilarious,
like the funniest joke of all time. So when that moment and that scene came back up, there was a little bit of a nostalgia elementary boy giggle.
Okay, so back on...
Okay,
the
setting
problems.
all of that aside now.
Setting all the culture appropriation. Let's talk about some other problems with this film. So one of which is this movie did not know what it was supposed to be. It was way too serious to be a comedy, and too much comedy to be serious. It was constantly in this place of just lurching back and forth between Chevy Chase slapstick, but then long drawn out periods of intense conversations and just very real situations.
Heart-wrenching. There's some moments where it's like, oh my.
I don't know about I would say trying to be hard. Trying too hard to be
Oh, are you telling me you didn't cry when they had the montage, right? We'll get to the montages of this movie, but the specific one of all of the different men with their hands waving out the window back at him, and he's sitting on Puget Sound on the log, and he's just crying. Tears,
thinking of his
tears
dad
are coming down JTT's face. And you didn't have just a little softening of your heart in that moment? You are heartless.
A little bit. There was a little bit of softening, but I was not going to cry at any point because I was already like, what is happening in this entire film?
I don't know if such a over the top tears though that it made me wonder, like, did they rush in, put little like eyedropper of liquid, like pouring, okay, go, roll, and then get out of the way. And it was like, oh.
That's about the only way, because JTT in this, and I'm sorry, it's 25 minutes into this conversation and we were finally getting around to JTT. So my wife has already checked out because we didn't talk about him in the opening month of this entire thing. He is just like angry the entire time. And anytime he tries to feint doing anything other than just scowling, it's completely unbelievable, because that's all he's doing this entire film is just scowling at every single person, having these one-liners. Be like, he's annoying. He's an annoying child in this film.
He's not. Yeah, and he's not. Oh, I'm sorry. This is where we're going to get hate mail. He's not a good actor. He's just not. Sorry. Especially, okay, we just did Angels in the Outfield, and you see at a young age that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a fantastic actor, even at the same age, right? You fast forward to here, and it's like, yeah, JTT just doesn't have it. And the poor kid, like, I looked it up because this movie came out right in the height of Home Improvement.
Yeah.
And it was actually originally structured that Tim Allen was going to be the dad or the soon-to-be stepdad in this. But instead, Tim Allen chose to do the Santa Claus. And also they thought, no, this would be... franchise. It would be too... Yeah, he made the better choice there. And he did another movie that we'll review coming up, Jungle to Jungle, which is... It's got some hints of this. But he did this on his summer hiatus from Home Improvement. So talk about a poor kid. Like, he doesn't get a break.
Yeah.
He does that TV show all year long. He's
mad the entire time.
Yeah, because he's like, I just want to be a kid. I just want to wear acid wash jeans and go skateboarding listening to, punk rock.
Yeah, the JTT Chevy Chase, but even Chevy Chase in this, it feels like he mailed in most of this movie. And there were moments where like, oh, I better give him some for the trailer. How about we just make this trundle bed, just like kind of this cot, kind of go both ways or whatever. And then it's back to being serious again. Yeah. It was things like that, or the tent. Okay, randomly, okay, we're gonna have some fun, like hitting each other with the tent, like we're stooges or something like that. It's just moments like that where I'm like, they were way too far in between.
They don't know what they are.
This movie had no idea what it was.
Yep.
It was almost like they shot it and then went back and was like, no one's gonna watch a Chevy Chase movie if it doesn't have some of this type of humor in it.
He just doesn't fit.
No.
Like, Chevy Chase just seems awkward and out of place the whole time. If nothing else, it's like, I'm sorry, Chevy Chase is never winning Farrah Fawcett. Like, it's just not in the cards for you,
they
man.
Had zero chemistry together. She's on a different movie than he's in. But that granted, there were so many times where my wife was constantly like, why do they listen to their child like this? Why does she just like bend over backwards to make him happy all the time? This is not parenting.
Zero parenting happening. Yeah, the only there are some nice little moments. I do like the guy who is the other dads. My favorite moments of this movie is the four dads of the group and kind of just seeing them together. How did you know that I was going to say that?
Just probably your 4-H background or something. I don't know. Something about
my 4-H background. What does
this
that
is basically 4-H, but with Native American.
No, it is not at all. Not even in the slightest.
Speaking 4-H, of Camp Squawkum.
You're the one who went to that. I never did that. 4-H was highly educational, learned many helpful life skills. I can't even believe it. I just don't even know how to entertain that. You didn't find the dads, the difference of them in humorous in any way. Like the uptight dad with the point of order.
The point of order guy, he fit a good part, and it's different than most. He's not like a typical character. Like he was just very much a point of order.
And they didn't overdo it. You could have really overdone that. It was just. Then you had the
mime
the
dad
circus performance. The mime dad,
so annoying, just so annoying.
I think this goes back to our different senses of humor.
This is the Mr. Bean character.
I enjoy a little bit of slapstick like this every once in a while. So even like the whole building of the tent or the teepee, but
it still came out of nowhere. It's like serious stuff. And then
he's like, "Oh, let's make him laugh."
And then it's just no. I did enjoy that. The kid Norm his dad was Norm from Cheers. I appreciated the Norm combo happening there.
And he's my favorite. Like the attempt at being heartfelt. Let's put it that way. He pulls off the best.
He's the best of all of those dads, I would say. Partially because he's the best, the biggest name of all of those people. So
sure.
I can't believe we've gone this far. When you said what are some things that would scream to you, this is what the 90s is about. The thing that would have been at the top of my list is taking a random comedy and jumping the shark by including the FBI or espionage or gang members or something. And that's what took this movie to a whole weird place.
It doesn't make sense, right? Because it's like they're like obvious like New York mafia who
Seattle.
They're a drug cartel. That's what it came out in the opening. But they're in Seattle, Washington?
It's just a major thoroughfare or something. I don't know.
It's like a triangle, right? It's like, well, let's take the cartels from the south of the United States with the Mexican border. Let's take kind of these New York mafia and let's put them in Seattle.
It's a mess.
Didn't make any sense. It is a mess, and it doesn't. I don't think it pushes the story along like they had hoped it to be. It was almost like they got to the end of writing this movie and they thought, we don't have enough conflict. Like we don't have enough bad guys. We need to, let's add these characters. Let's put this in there. Though one of my if I can say more favorite funny moments, but also a moment where I'm just like, what is the big guy in the middle of the stream holding a salmon, and he's like, I love this fishing thing.
This is my first time fishing, and I caught a fish with his bare hands.
I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. You are not fishing.
No, that's yeah. Everything about that other thing happening was just a waste of our time. Just to up the stakes a little bit. It's like it's not intense enough. We need some gang member. We need some drug cartels in this film that doesn't need it.
The other big 90s thing is the jukebox soundtrack, where we just have and let's have a random kind of hit song playing in this, but it's always hit songs that are not current.
Yep.
They're always just a little bit like this movie just had a really weird soundtrack where I'm like, really? They're picking that? And then of course we had our montage sequence.
Yep.
Where they're all learning how to do a rain dance. That's very, very peculiar. I'm not sure I really understand that. I am curious about one thing in particular with JTT, and we may need some people, your wife, to help us understand this. Did you notice he wore a lot of odd duck t-shirts?
Odd duck?
Like ducks.
Oh.
Like ducks wearing clothes.
You're not saying that that's the name of the company, Odd Duck.
No, like he just multiple times in the movie he was wearing a t-shirt that had a duck or multiple ducks. Not any famous ones, okay? So not Mighty Ducks,
yeah.
Not Donald Duck, not DuckTales. It's just ducks dressed like they're in the 90s on his t-shirts. And I kept seeing this multiple times in the movie, and I'm like,
I saw one and maybe thought about it for a couple seconds, like, did I ever have that shirt? No. Okay.
It just seemed like the first time I'm like, that's weird. That's random. And then when I saw it again and then again, and I'm like, is this a thing from the 90s that I didn't know about? Did I miss something?
I wasn't a part of this cult that wore duck shirts.
This cult.
Sorry.
I don't know.
No.
So you didn't know anything about it?
I don't have any inside information on it, on the duck shirts.
Please go to our website, Honey We Made, and we've got a listener thing there where you can leave feedback, right? We have that
somewhere. I'm sure there's a contact form.
Sure. Contact us. Tell me, what is this all about? Because I was really curious.
Yep. Well, Eddie, we've spent a lot of time talking about this weird movie. And do you have a good rating in your head? Do you have a number that you think you're pretty confident about?
Yeah, I have a pretty solid number.
I feel like we have the same number.
You ready to say it at the same time?
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
1.
Yeah, there's no way that
there's no doubt.
I have zero desire to ever even talk about this film again.
I may have gotten up and walked around, done some other things during all of this. Yep. I'm like, why is this movie still going on? Yeah, it was, it just didn't know what it was. I think they thought, we need to make a movie with JTT. He will make a ton of money because he's so popular right now. Let's just come up with something that we can film in 4 weeks. And that's how we got this.
Yeah.
So,
this mess.
Do you have any dad tips from this movie?
Yeah, don't let your kid run the house. That'd probably be a good idea. Maybe have some sort of a spine and say something when they're acting out. Might be a good idea.
Yeah, and I would say just don't wave goodbye to your kids out
ever.
An open car walk or
don't
an open car
ever.
window.
That's the unintended moral consequence. When you wave at your children, they automatically think of you leaving them. So
automatically.
Just say no to that. But
there it is.
So that is it. That is it for this episode of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. So Eddie, next movie that we're doing, and we're pretty confident it's going to be on Disney Plus.
Yes, this one is obviously on Disney Plus. We're going to keep with the slightly, maybe overtly culturally insensitive theme here and review Pocahontas. How
did we go? There was Squanto, this film, and Pocahontas all in the same time period. I think
the 90s was this period of like, okay, we're going to like reconcile this and we're going to actually like have representation and then do it horrifically. Just awful.
Yeah. We're just going to rewrite history. Gonna rewrite everything.
And I will revisit the theme of geographic incorrectness for Pocahontas. Okay.
I'm ready for this.
Just to give... I already have a soapbox dusted off, ready to go for just the inaccuracies of geography in that movie.
Well, and I officially want to say sorry to my wife who tried to prep me to say the right term, which is Native American. And again, I'm sorry for using the word Indian. I don't know how many times at the front of this before I remembered that you told me not to say that. So with that, thank you again for listening to this episode.